Strength of Africa TV presents.
Africa, cradle of wisdom untold. From Timbuktu's libraries to pyramids of gold. Yet today we ask with voices in pain, why do our children hold degrees in vain? No more paper chains, no more disguise. Africa must rise, let the truth light our skies. Builders, creators, healers will be. From paper to power, we'll set ourselves free.
Africa, the cradle of civilization, the birthplace of knowledge, from the great libraries of Timbuktu to the mathematical genius of the Egyptian pyramids and Dongo people. Africa was once the world's university. Yet today, we find ourselves asking, why is Africa lagging behind in education, in technology, and in innovation? Why do we have graduates who clutch degrees but cannot solve the problems they were trained for? Why do we produce civil engineers who cannot build roads, doctors who cannot run hospitals without foreign support, and economists who cannot transform their nation's economies? Professor P.L.O. Lumumba once asked, how did Africa get a messed up education system? Was this by accident or was it by design? Today, we explore the uncomfortable question. But before we begin, my family, please watch to the end. There is a treat and message for you, my audience. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are at this moment. I'm your host, Adebayo Oladokun, and this is Strength of Africa TV, where truth meets courage, where the past is reawakened, and the future of the motherland is reclaimed. Today's episode is titled African Paper Education, a Deliberate Sabotage. To understand our present, we must revisit our past. Colonial powers understood one truth: education is power. But the kind of education they gave Africa was never meant to empower. Instead of teaching us how to build industries, how to grow technology, or how to master trade, colonial schools taught Africans how to read, write, and follow orders. The system was designed to produce clerks, interpreters, and low-level administrators, not innovators. This explains why, decades after independence, Africa still imports almost everything, from needles to airplanes, from processed foods to even toothpicks. Think about this. In 1960, at independence, Congo had only 16 university graduates, not 16,000, just 16. This was intentional because an educated African population was considered a threat to colonial dominance. Fast forward to today, Africa boasts of millions of graduates every year. Universities produce civil engineers, doctors, lawyers, architects, and economists. Yet, ironically, our infrastructure is still being built by foreigners. Our hospitals are run by imported technology, and our economies are dictated by the IMF and World Bank. Why? Because what we have is paper education, degrees without skills, a civil engineer graduate without ever laying a single brick. An agriculture graduate cannot feed himself. A medical doctor cannot operate without imported machines. In Nigeria, for instance, with over 170 universities, less than 30% of engineering graduates are employable, according to industry reports. In Kenya, students graduate in law but cannot argue a simple case without copying precedents from Britain. Our education system is a conveyor belt of job seekers, not job creators. This crisis is why Africa has become a playground for foreign experts. Chinese engineers build our roads and bridges. European doctors run our specialized hospitals. American consultants draft our economic blueprints. Let's pause and reflect. If Africa produces hundreds of thousands of engineers every decade, why then are almost all our mega projects executed by foreigners? The answer is clear. Our education is designed to keep us dependent. We are trained to pass exams, not to solve problems. Look at Ethiopia's Grand Renaissance Dam, the largest hydroelectric project in Africa. While Ethiopian engineers participated, the core expertise came from foreign contractors. The same story is repeated across Africa, from Kenya's expressway to Nigeria's railway, all built by Chinese companies. This is not just incompetence, it is dependency by design. So, my family, we ask these big questions. Is Africa's education deliberately sabotaged? Professor P.L.O. Lumumba argues that colonialists designed education to make Africans strangers to themselves. We studied Shakespeare, but not Ngugi wa Thiong'o. We learned European history, but not African civilizations. We've memorized chemical formulas, but never learned how to make soap or purify water in our villages. This is not an accident, it's a strategy. If Africa remains dependent on foreign knowledge, then Africa remains a market, not a competitor, a consumer, not a producer, a follower, not a leader. But family, all hope is not lost. Around the continent, seeds of transformation are emerging. In Rwanda, the government is emphasizing technical and vocational training alongside academic degrees. In Ghana, local innovators are creating drones for medical supply delivery. In Kenya, young engineers are building mobile apps that solve African problems. Consider the young Ugandan inventor who built a low-cost ventilator during the COVID-19 crisis, proving that with the right training, Africans can create solutions for African challenges. These examples show that when Africans are given practical, relevant, and empowering education, transformation follows. Africa does not need more degree holders who cannot solve problems. We need builders, we need innovators, we need healers, and we need creators. It is time to decolonize our education system. It is time to teach our children not just to memorize, but to innovate. It is time to move from paper education to practical education. Parents, demand better curricula. Governments, invest in research and skills training. Students, do not settle for theory, seek out practice. Africa, rise. The chains of mental slavery are broken when knowledge is applied, not when certificates are framed. As Professor P.L.O. Lumumba once, a country that teaches its children everything about others but nothing about itself is preparing them for servitude. We must choose. Will Africa continue producing graduates who cannot build Africa? Or will we reinvent education to serve our people, our land, and our future? The time is now. Because an Africa that only celebrates paper is an Africa that sabotages its destiny. This is Strength of Africa TV. Together, let's shape an education system that does not sabotage us, but liberates us. I'm your host, Adebayo Oladokun, and this has been Strength of Africa TV production. If you found value in this conversation, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Deezer. Watch out for the next episode. You don't want to miss it. The treat and message I promised earlier is that if you want to feature in any of our episodes, or you want to make a shout out to your loved ones, please indicate in the comment section and we will figure out how. Until then, tell your own story because Africa's future is written in African ink. Stay rooted, stay bold, stay African. Thank you for watching and see you in the next episode. Bye.
Africa, cradle of wisdom untold. From Timbuktu's libraries to pyramids of gold. Yet today we ask with voices in pain, why do our children hold degrees in vain? No more paper chains, no more disguise. Africa must rise, let the truth light our skies. Builders, creators, healers will be. From paper to power, we'll set ourselves free.